Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and remember, context is everything. My name is John Michael. I'm reading this textbook cover to cover in order to build my historical context. Why don't you join me as we review yesterday's reading, which was Chapter 10, Section 3. And you guessed it, we're building our context for today's reading. Okay, Chapter 10.3. Eastern Europe reaches from the Baltic Sea across the plains of Poland, then through the mountainous Balkans. Much of the region lies on the great European plain that links up with the steppes of southern Russia. By the way, the name of this section is Early Kingdoms of Eastern Europe. Early Kingdoms of Eastern Europe, episode 53. That was yesterday. This is episode 54. Eastern Europe. Main rivers of Eastern Europe are the Danube and the Vistula, flowing south to the Black Sea or north to the Baltic Sea. Eastern Europe was far less developed than Western Europe, so it became a melting pot for different cultures as Europeans from all around migrated east. And also people migrated west who were in Asia. Right. The Balkans. In the early Middle Ages, Slavs spread out from Russia. West Slavs migrated to modern-day Poland and the Czech region. Southern Slavs migrated from the Balkans and became ancestors of the Serbs, Croats, and Slovenians. Remember, this book was published in 2001. If some of these terms are outdated, it's because this book was published in 2001, and that's where I'm gathering my notes from. Waves of Asian people migrated into Eastern Europe like the Huns. Avars, Bulgars, Khazars, and Magyars. Vikings and other Germanic peoples added in as well. Byzantine missionaries brought Eastern Orthodox Christianity and Byzantine culture throughout the Balkans, while German knights and missionaries brought Roman Catholic Christianity to Poland, Hungary, and the Czech Republic. In the 1300s, Ottomans invaded the Balkans and spread Islam into this cultural pocket of Eastern Europe. In the 1300s as well, Polish kings followed a policy of toleration towards the Jewish people. This led to a significant influx of Jews into Eastern Europe. Early kingdoms. Poland. Missionaries brought Roman Catholicism to the West Slavs of Poland in the 900s. The Polish crowned their first king in the 1000s and had to fight off Germans, Russians, and Mongols to maintain their independence. While Poland and Lithuania joined forces through a royal marriage in 1386, Lithuania controlled the largest state in Europe, stretching from the Baltic to the Black Sea. Without strong central government, however, Poland declined. By the 1700s, Poland was gobbled up by its ambitious neighbors and wiped off of the map entirely. Hungary. Magyars raided Europe from the Asian steppes and settled in Hungary. They adopted Roman Catholicism. In the Golden Bull Charter of 1222, the Hungarian king made similar concessions to the all men are afforded due process of law that the Magna Carta signed over 7 years previous. So the Golden Bull Charter in 1222, similar to the Magna Carta from 1215. I'm sure that there was some influence there, where people were afforded due process of law rather than if they're just not liked by the royalty, they're imprisoned. Okie dokie. Mongols overran Hungary in 1241 and are said to have wiped out nearly half of the Hungarian population. The expansion of Ottoman Turks ended Hungarian independence by 1526. Serbia during the 600s. South Slavs settled in the mountainous Balkans. That's Serbia, the mountainous Balkans. Serbs, Croats, Slovenians, and other Slavic peoples in the Balkans had different histories during the Middle Ages. Serbia accepted Orthodox Christianity and by the late 1100s had set up their own state under Stefan Dusan, modeling laws after the Justinian Code. The Ottoman Turks defeated the Serbians in a brutal battle of Kosovo in 1389. Yeah. Exciting stuff. Okay. Welcome to The Context is Everything Studio B. Welcome to page 200 and page 200 and let's see, where are we? Sorry for the delay here, folks. I just got to find what page I'm on. Oh. Was that it? That was it? Oh, okay. Well, that was the end of the chapter, actually. So I'm just going to review the previous sections now. Okay, so yesterday that was 10.3. Let me go back here. Let me go to chapter 10.2 and read that. Chapter 10.2. The rise of Russia and Kiev, Ukraine. Here are my notes on chapter 10.2, which is rise of Russia and Kiev. Regional Russia was separated into three spaces: northern forests, southern fertile land, and the southern steppes, or open treeless grasslands, which served as travel routes for migrants from Asia into Europe. Russia's main rivers are the Dnieper and the Volga. Excellent farming land and central to Viking and Byzantine trade networks was the city of Kiev in Ukraine, modern-day Ukraine. Many Russian names we know today are adopted from those Vikings who found Kiev to be a valuable trade outpost, leading to their migration. Viking names like Helga and Waldemir transformed into Russian names that we know, such as Olga and Vladimir. Helga equals Olga, Waldemir equals Vladimir. Vikings. In 863, two Greek monks, Cyril and Methodius, adapted the Greek alphabet so they could translate the Bible into Slavic languages. This Cyrillic alphabet became written script in Russia and Ukraine and is still used to this day. By 957, Princess Olga of Kiev converted to Byzantine Christianity, which would later evolve into the Russian Orthodox Church. Olga's grandson Vladimir married the sister of a Byzantine emperor and had a Greek priest arrive in Kiev to preside over a mass baptism of his population. A mass baptism meaning all of his population or whoever showed up getting baptized. I'm not sure exactly. That's all they said in the book. Mongol conquests in the early 1200s united nomadic peoples to create the Golden Horde, led by Genghis Khan, which translates to World Emperor. Genghis Khan equals World Emperor, and later his son Batu. The Golden Horde looted and burned Kiev and many Russian towns. The Golden Horde ruled Russia for the next 240 years. Mongols demanded regular payments and heavy tribute from Russian princes. Mongols converted to Islam but tolerated the Russian Orthodox Church, which was growing in power. As Mongol power subsided, Moscow grew in power, not only as the capital of the Russian Orthodox Church, but it became Russia's political center. In 1380, Russians defeated the Golden Horde at the Battle of Kulikovo. In 1380, Russians defeated the Golden Horde in the Battle of Kulikovo. which started Russia's road to independence. Ivan the Great, or Ivan the Third, brought much of northern Russia under his rule between 1462 and 1505. He tried to limit the powers of the boyars, or great landowning nobles. He also adopted the name Tsar for his throne. Tsar is a Russian translation of the word Caesar. They are the third Rome, as we will see shortly. They see themselves as the third Rome. Ivan the Terrible, or Ivan the Fourth, was the grandson of Ivan the Great. He introduced laws to make fief society from earlier Europe function by tying Russian serfs to their land. Not physically tying them, but I think more legally, like how fiefdoms worked in Europe, Western Europe earlier, how the feudal society worked. Feudal society being, you have a manor, which is where the vassal lives, the lord of the area, and then you have surrounding farmland where people work on it and do their work and protect the city, the fief, and that is their taxation for living there. They work. They get 2 weeks off a year. They don't get paid, but they can live there. When money came out as a concept, paper money, coins and all that, widely used across Europe, it created a middle class which started to subdue the feudal system and fiefs. Ivan the Terrible, though, says, let's bring these fiefs back. And the people didn't care for him too much. Okay. In about 1569, Ivan killed his own son in a moment of madness. He created the oprichniki, or agents of terror, who enforced the Tsar's will. They would dress in black robes and ride black horses. And when Ivan the Terrible died in 1584, he left the people ready to rebel due to his tyranny. I would assume that they did rebel, because the next thing that it says here is, in 1604 to 1613, just 20 years later after his death, there was a time in Russia called the Time of the Troubles. The Time of Troubles. By 1613, a solution was met. The Zemsky Sobor was an assembly of clergy, nobles, and townsmen who chose a new czar to end these troubles. They chose a 17-year-old named Michael Romanov, and his family ruled until 1917. And since context is everything, 1917 from 1613 is 304 years. That is longer than the United States has existed, and I couldn't have told you about the Romanovs at all. So they had a long run, and then it ended, and they are on the road to being forgotten. Context is everything, and if I'm wrong, whatever. That's life. Next section. 10.1. Chapter 10.1. The Byzantine Empire. We're working backwards today because that's just how it worked out. I didn't realize I finished the chapter. Maybe I should look ahead next time. Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul in Turkey, was a vibrant city that dominated in trade, being an intermediary between Asia, Middle East, North Africa, and Europe. Constantinople was said to earn 20,000 gold pieces in taxes alone imposed on merchants daily. In 330 AD, Roman Emperor Constantine rebuilt the Greek city of Byzantium and renamed it after himself. Byzantium he rebuilt, he named it Constantinople. With favorable waterways and geographic placement, trade and defense of the city were strong. Even after the fall of the Roman Empire, Constantinople survived for centuries, carrying on much of the Roman traditions. Citizens would cheer on spectacles held at the Hippodrome, an arena built in the 200s, just as the Romans would do at the Colosseum. The age of Justinian. Byzantine Empire reached its greatest size under Emperor Justinian, who ruled from 527 to 565 with his powerful wife Theodora. Justinian had absolute power as an autocrat, meaning he ruled people as well as the church. He built the Hagia Sophia. Hagia Sophia translates to holy wisdom, which means that Hagia means holy and Sophia means wisdom, which built on Roman architecture and was a lavish extravaganza of design. I think it's still standing. Justinian developed the Corpus Juris Civilis, or body of civil law, which took from Roman law. This Justinian code, referenced even in recent years, in the creation of international law in the modern day. The Byzantine Empire was under frequent attack in the 600s and 700s, be it from the Persians, Slavs, Vikings, Mongols, or Turks. These attacks were thwarted. Byzantine defenses held strong, but Arab armies were gaining control of much of the Mediterranean world, so threat was looming. If you can picture where Turkey is on the map, you have the Mediterranean Sea. You have Italy, Greece, Turkey, Istanbul, Constantinople. Same thing. Byzantine Christianity, which split into two things. Russian Orthodox and Greek Orthodox. But Byzantine Christianity, when it was known as Byzantine Christianity, had a patriarch, which was similar to the Pope on the Roman Catholic side. The Byzantine Church rejected the Pope, though, as an authority, and caused a schism where the Roman Catholic Church and the Greek Orthodox Church split. The schism occurred in 1054. Seljuk Turks advanced across Asia Minor. In the 1090s, Byzantine Emperor called for Western help to fight the Seljuk Turks, who closed pilgrimage routes to the Holy Land of Jerusalem. This is the First Crusade. By 1204, the Western Europeans abandoned their truce with the Byzantine Empire and marched on Constantinople. This is the Fourth Crusade and ended with the plundering of Constantinople and the Western Christian rule of Constantinople for 50 years. Constantinople falls in 1453 to Ottoman forces who surrounded the city for 2 months, and then they finally stormed the walls. The Ottoman forces were led by Muhammad II, and he renamed it Istanbul, which is the city's name to this day. As always, context is everything. Thank you for joining me here to wrap up Chapter 10. Tomorrow, we'll start Chapter 11. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.